chosen ones, empaths, a lot of us, when we encountered the narcissist, we found them in a very bad way. When we first discovered the narcissist, you know, they wasn't in a good way. They wasn't in a good place. And they saw the potential in us, and it's the reason they latched onto us. They needed a lifesaver, and we become their life support. That's who we was during the relationship. We was like their life support machine. We was the lifesaver. We swooped in like Captain Saberhole and come to the rescue and pick someone up out of the trash, out of the low place that they was at, and they drained us of our energy to basically develop and to better themselves. Problem is, what they face is they get blown so out of proportion and they get so big-headed that they believe that they can do it without us. They don't realize that. They're so naive and dumb. Like, they don't realize that by losing us, by discarding us, or pushing us too far so we cut them off, they think they can go it alone. And they think that other suppliers will suffice them in the same way that we suffice them. They think they can get anything they want. That's what they think in their heads. They think, I can get whatever I want. I can do manipulation. I can do this, that, the other. I can get what I want. But they get a harsh reality when they face an empath and a chosen one, because after the relationship ends and you poured forth all of your love into them and care, admiration, and you poured forth all of this support into them, right? You were like their life support. They think that they can survive in a world without you, but they often run into new supplies that are just as toxic as they are. They run into new suppliers that are possibly narcissistic, possibly a psychopath, possibly a serial cheater. They run into these other suppliers, and they've burnt bridges with us. They've either pushed us too far or discarded us, and we're on a separate, totally different spectrum. We're on our healing journey. We're developing heart, mind, soul, and body, and they realize that this greener pasture that they went over to, inverted commas, life without us, wasn't so rosy after all, and it wasn't so green after all, and it was actually very desolate, and there wasn't actually much grass there at all. There wasn't much grass there at all, and it wasn't green, fresh blades of grass. It was more like dying weeds and hay. That's what they went over to. Or a desert. They went over to somewhere this hasn't got the nutrients that we provided. They go over to somewhere which hasn't got the life support like we provided. They run into someone who's not a lifesaver. And they begin to realize so quickly the dreadful mistake that they made. But they're so stubborn that they continue on in a hope that we'll reach out to them. And they clutch at that straw. They clutch at those straws, where they thought they were blades of grass, but there was nothing but hay and straw. And it's yellow, and it's not like fresh green blades of grass. They begin to clutch at that, like with dear life, clinging on to this fantasy world that they went into. And they'll be portraying on social media it's the best thing since sliced bread. They'll be trying all sorts of tactics to try and invoke a reaction from you and try to let you get your guard down again, because they already got your guard down once, didn't they? They got your guard down when they first met you, so they felt like, oh, I can get them whenever I want. I can do A, B, and C, and D, and then I'll get them back. But if you are strong enough and you've healed enough and you've done a lot of inner work, you'll hit this point inevitably when you door slam. And when you door slam and bolt and wall it shut, the narcissist becomes even more desperate for your attention. Believe me, they've been keeping a watchful eye on you the whole time that you've been separated. Through the entire time you've been separated, they've been keeping up to date with what you're posting. They possibly might have even stalked you on some occasions. They use hacking devices. They use various things, and they like to keep watch, because that's the only way that they can obtain the grade A source of supply that you are. You see, but the thing is we was their lifesaver. We built them up to such a high point, and they believed that they could prosper without us, only to realize they can't, and they're never going to be able to replace us. So I say to you, let them keep trying. Let them go out there and let them keep going through supply after supply after supply, because naturally they're getting older. Naturally their charm is starting to dwindle. Naturally they're becoming less able to pair bond. They're not able to pair bond anyway, but you know, they was able to form some type of bond with us because they basically mirrored us and used all of the goodness from us. As I've said in another video earlier on, they mirrored us and we basically fell in love with ourselves. So we've got to leave them to their own devices and let them realize and get the realization by going off with new supplies. And when those new supplies don't equate to us, this is when they are desperate. They're desperate. They're desperate, dusty little weirdos, dusty little creatures that try to move on and on and on. And they go through bodies after bodies after bodies. And they'll never find someone like you again. You have to understand how rare you are. People always say, but what about if the narcissist had an ex? Doesn't that mean that I'm the downgrade? Doesn't that mean... No, it doesn't. Because I'm telling you that there's chosen people of the devil and there's chosen people of God. And if you're a chosen one of God or the chosen one of the universe, it's most likely these lot have run into someone who's just as toxic as they are, just as manipulative as they are, possibly even more manipulative, possibly even more narcissistic. This is what the types of people they run into. And as I've mentioned previous times before, many times, them trying to draw supply from each other is like trying to draw blood from a stone. And this is why they crave our companionship. They crave our company. They crave to be with us. But they often push us so far and they go way beyond all limits that we finally hit that point when we door slam them, bolt it and weld it shut, and there's X no way in. There's just X no way in. What did I mean? There's no way in, right? Yeah, X no way in. You know, they're an X and there's no way in. There'll only be an X. That's the best that they're ever going to get. And they can hold on to your trinkets and they can stalk and they can look at your social media all they want. Let them do it. Who cares? Let them spy all they want. Let them do that. Because they're just suffering. It's only making them not be able to get on with their lives. The more that they keep watching stuff that you're doing on your social media, you know, they're not getting any better. They need to realize that they've got to go back down to their level. And we was never at their level. We was always beyond their level. We need to raise the bar and they need to lower the bar. And they need to go back to their dusty little corner where they come from and settle with their dusty little supply, because that's the best they're going to get. And this is, they will end up having to settle for someone dusty. That's the facts of it. They will have to end up settling for someone dusty. And, you know, that's what they have to do. And they won't get over you. They won't. We was their lifesaver. We raised them up from the dead. We brought them up from nothing. They were nothing when we met them. And then They tried to leave us in a shell of ourselves, a shell of our former selves. They tried to steal all our light and glory, you know. But God replaces that within us. We go through the hard times. We go through the trenches. We go through the sleepless nights. We go through the tears. We go through not being able to eat properly. We go through that pain, and we get stronger and more resilient. That's what happens with a chosen one and an empath. We're always misconstrued as someone who's weak, as someone who's emotional, as someone who's like that. But we have actually got very, very highly intuitive, empathetic abilities that help us heal in the best possible way. And they don't have that. Remember, they only look at you as supply. They can't survive without supply. They're codependent. They tried to make you codependent, but they're the one who's dependent upon your supply, and only your supply. They will search high, low, far, wide to find someone that matches your supply. They'll never find it because you're unique. There's only one you, and you is a lifesaver to them. You is the life support. So trust me, just let them dig their grave and let them lay in it. Do not speak to them. Do not reach out to them. Utilize new contact. Utilize the door slam, bolted and welding shut, and let the games begin. That's when the games begin. When you door slam, bolt and weld it shut, and you do the final discard, that's when the games begin. Trust me. So anyway, thank you for watching today. Please press the like and the subscribe button. If you would like to donate to the channel, you can find the link in the description box. And if you would like a one-to-one session with myself, you can find the link in the description box. Currently, I have the secondary channel, the spiritual channel. If you would like more spiritual content, head over there. The link for that is in the description box. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.